Hi, let us see some Java local date and time classes, how to deal with dates and times in Java. We will cover only one type of them, which is local date and local time and local date time. There has been some old classes in Java, but those classes have been deprecated, no longer recommended to use. So in the time package of Java, there is a local date and local time and local date time. So what are these things? Local date only represents dates. No time, only date, month, day, year. Local time represents time, which is hour, minutes, seconds. You can create only time. And the third one is local date time. And this is called like a timestamp. Timestamp is both date and time, like Monday, April 2nd, 2024, time 12:35 and 10 seconds. This is called timestamp, and this is widely used in computing and computer applications. We will cover local date. So how to create a local date? It's a local date, the class name. It's in the time package, current date, local date now. Now we'll give you today's date. Remember, this is only date. So local date, current date, local date now will give you today's date. If you look at the output here in the first line, so this is the today's date. And specific date, if you want to give the date to the class, a specific date, like this, year, month, and day. And see here, local date of. Of takes year, month, day. Remember, American way, year, month, day. The last one, parse date. If you have a date in a string, like this, the date comes in a string, and this is very useful when you read text files. And this is the date in strings. You use parse. Parse converts the string to a local date object. Let's see this code in action. Let's see the local date. Here we have local date, current date. If you want today's date, just use now, like this. Let's show you. Local date, the class name, dot now. There is a method that returns a local date, and it's going to be today's date. If you have a specific date, then use local date of and provide year, like this, 2020. For example, April, and here 10th. So this is going to be the 10th of April, 2020. The third type is parse date, where you have the date in a string like this, and you're going to use parse here. Parsing string, it will return a date object. So here I can just make this 2023, January, and first day of the year, 1. So now we created a date object using 3 different ways. Now, today's date, local date of, we give the date day, year, month, day, or if you have the date in a string, you can use it like this. Let us see the output. I'll print all of them. So we have a problem with the last one. So the last one, maybe we need to provide some kind of a, here, if we use 01 to specify which one is date, لا ما اشتغل. So see here when I provided 0101, let's see which one takes 0. So now 11, it worked. So if you don't provide 0 in the month name, let us make it March, and it gives you an exception. The parse exception means in the month, you need to provide either the month, like 11, or if it is less than 10, you need to provide 01, for example, for January. So 3 ways to create date. Tamam. So now you have created the date object. How to get information sometimes, or extract information from the local date object. What if you want the year only? Remember, the year is going to be an integer. the month. Month is an integer. Day. So these are the three things that you are expected to need to extract from a date. So get year returns the year. Get month value returns the month value. Get day of month, which day of the month. Get day of week. And if you look at the output here, you will see Thursday. And get day of year, it will return the day of the year, yani which day this one is in the year. Let's see this code. So here is our code, specific date, the date we created here. Get year, get month value, get day of month, get day of week, get day of year. Let's see the output. So here, get the year, get month value, get day of month, get day of week, and get day of year. What is the number of the day in this year? So how to get information from a date? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 very useful functions. Next, you have created a date. How to manipulate it? Manipulate it means add or remove days, plus minus months, and whatever, years also. So it's very simple here. This is the date created, plus days. You add 5 days to this date. Minus months or plus months, so you remove and add months or date, or plus or minus years. So you can add days, months, and year. Let's see this. So here we are creating a new local date, future date, which is specific date plus 5 days. So it will add 5 days to this date, minus months and plus years. And here you can see an output of those things. So let's just run it first. So here we get the future date, the past date, the next year. Let me just make changes here. So I will add 10 years. I will add, let us see the methods. So you know all methods, dot. And this is plus. See, you can add plus days, plus months, plus weeks even, or plus years. So I'll add plus months. And here I will say 10. So we added, I'll add 10 days and 10 months and 10 years to the specific date. Remember, this is the specific date. So if you want me to output it here, I'll output it again before I do anything here. Before the future date, I'll output the specific date again. So here is our specific date. This is after adding 10 days. This is after adding 10 months, and this is after adding 10 years. So you can add or remove. You can say minus, for example, here, dot, minus, whatever you want to, minus days or months or weeks. That's it. So I'll just remove, for example, 20 weeks of the date, and let's see what happens. So this is a very good way, very nice way how to manipulate dates. Next, when working with dates, usually you need to do some comparisons. For example, here we have 2 dates. This is date 1 and this is date 2. The comparison is usually is before, is after. So you want to know if which date is before or after the other date. So if it's is before, it's going to return true or false. Specific date is after, is going to return true or false. And if you want to see the output of this, is going to be specific date is before another date. You can compare any date to any other date to know which one is before the other one. So here is a new date, which is local date of this day. We will compare it with specific date. Let us see what is the latest of specific date. Here is a specific date. I can just print it before I start comparison. And if it's before or after, you know what you're gonna get. So specific date is before another date. Let me just go to the another date and make it 2014 and run. So here specific date is after. It used to be before and now it's after. So you can use is before or is after. If you want to know the difference between 2 dates, this is a bit needs some details. Usually the unit is needed. So if you want to know how many days, you need to be specific. You can ask the difference between 2 days in terms of 2 dates in terms of days or weeks or months or years, but you need to use some kind of chrono units. dot here days. So now if between, I will say, for example, between specific date and another date. So now I will get the number of days between specific days and, so let me just say days here. Let me the output and see the last value. There is a minus 2002 days because one of them is after. Let me make this like 2025, and which is going to make it after. And the date is 1800 days. What about other units? That's fine. Just come here. Instead of days, see what options you have. And centuries, decades, hours, of course, there will be what? Months and years and nanos and years, whatever. So I'll just use months here. So now here, instead of days, I'll say months. Those methods usually return long. Okay, so now I know how many months between two dates. So let's see the output. I have 59 months between the 2 days. Finally, how to format dates. You see the dates formats, usually American format, which is month, day, year, or they expect the month to be before the year. Anyway, to format a date, you just need a DateTime formatter. Remember this. A formatter is a class that formats dates. They present you with a pattern. So here, DateTime formatter of pattern. Here you decide what is the date format. See, DD means 2 days, MM means 2 months or 2 digits for month and 4 digits for years. Then you come and say the date object, like specific date on, format, and provide the format with formatter. So this date now is going to be exactly this date. See the output here. Before format, this was the date, and after format, this is the date. And even the separator now is a forward slash. It used to be a hyphen. So let's see this in code. So here is our date here. Now we create DateTime formatter. If you want to go to the top, see, import Java time format, DateTime formatter. And for the previous comparison or difference from temporal, I use chrono units. So formatter, you create a formatter and you specify the type. What is the format of the date? Let's see the output first and then make changes. So here is after format and here is before. Let's see what we need to do. For example, here, I'll just make 2 digits for the year. And let's see the output. Look here, 20. The year is 20. And here, for example, let me say MMM. I'm not sure if this is going to work here. And it works. It gives you the first 3 digits or 3 letters of the month. So if I change the month here, it was April somewhere. I used it. Where is it? Here. Now I'll make it, for example, August. And run this. I'm not sure if I changed it from August. Now it's August. So there are so many formats. Usually, only when you need them, you need to do some research. This is typical with all utility classes. There are tens and sometimes hundreds of different choices. No one's going to cover all of them in one tutorial, but we tell you what's there and we just show you the road and you need to finish the road. So now all these things, the ones we talked about, were about date. Type. What about time? Yes, there is a local time. And with local time, you add minutes, seconds, you compare, you work with hours, minutes, and seconds. Local time, same thing. The third type is both local date and time. And look at this here. Local date and time. It's not a local date. It's not a local time. It's both date and time. Monday, 10th of April, 2024 at 4 p.m., 30 minutes, 10 seconds. So let me show you here. Local date time now. So you'll know what time is it now when I'm recording this tutorial. And I also can say local date time off and give it something like this. Year, month, day, hours, minutes, and seconds. Let me show you the output. So this is now 2024, 3:30. Okay, time 21:50, 18, and these are the milliseconds. And this is the time off, where I provided this. Tamam. Of course, now we'll give you a new value every time you run it. This is 21:50, 35 seconds. If I run it again, it's 25:50, 41 seconds. So this is local time. So what I can do with local time, local date time, sorry, you can do everything you did with dates. But now you can do it for both dates and times. Now you can do it for both dates and times. So if you are wondering, can I get the year? Yes. Can I get the month? Yes. Can I get the day? Can I get an hour, minute, second? See? It applies to both date and time, because this is local date time. It's not a local date. It's not a local time. So now if I run this, you will get the year, month, day, hour. Anything applies to local date or local time together. So here's the output, second, month, and all of these things. If you are wondering, can I do comparison? Yes, you can. So here I have 2 days. Of course, I can add days and hours, minutes, seconds. So you can add days or weeks or months because it's date. You can add hours, minutes, seconds because it's time. So now you can use both functionalities, date functionalities and time functionality. So here we have another local date time. You can compare if it's before, if it's after. And here, local date off, you create, this is going to be 3 p.m. exactly, no seconds. And here, future date. And here also you see plus days, plus months. Here you can do anything you did to time or date. So plus days, plus hours, plus minutes, plus months. Now I added 5 months, minus hours. I want to do plus minutes, for example. Let me just dot. So BLUS. So plus what? I can do plus minutes. So you can add 21 minutes and 5 months. So you can work with it. Local date time. You can work with it as date and time together. And remember, this is used in computers and computer applications for what we call timestamp. يعني a moment in time. لحظة والوقت. تمام؟ لحظة معينة من تاريخ معين، يوم معين، ووقت معين، وشهر معين، وسنة معينة، وساعة معينة، وثانية معينة. هذا مهم جدا في تطبيقات الكمبيوتر جميعا. So local date time for both date and time. Local time for time. Local date for date. You can format, manipulate, compare, and extract whatever data you want from them.